Now, yesterday was Easter Sunday, and Donald Trump, President Trump, while I guess I don't know if it was before the egg roll or after the egg roll, and of course that makes me think of Chinese food, egg rolls. I know I'm going off on a weird tangent on this story already, but sometime during that or after that or before that or maybe before or after, he was talking about the military and how strong our military is to little kids. Donald Trump found time to tweet about the Democrats in DACA and his inability to fund the wall. Now, look, in the recent budget deal, and I've talked about this, Trump got about $1.6 billion to go towards border security, right? Now, that border security doesn't go to a big, beautiful wall with a big, beautiful door and giant gold letters with the word Trump on it, which is probably what he envisions when he looks at a wall. No, this goes to some fencing in some areas and, where we could actually maybe put a little bit of fencing. Okay, so he knew he didn't want to sign this bill. He did. This is the omnibus, of course. And he's like, I was very, very unhappy with this bill. I don't want to sign anything like this again. Well, that's because he knew he didn't get what he wanted. So now he's going to throw a fit. On Twitter, he said, Border Patrol agents are not allowed to properly do their job at the border because of ridiculous liberal, and then he had to put in Democrat, laws like catch and release, getting more dangerous, caravans coming, Republicans must go to nuclear option to pass tough laws. Now, no more DACA deal. Oh, no more DACA deal. Well, that's very interesting. We'll get to that. Okay, so there's so much ridiculousness in this tweet that I have to break it down piece by piece because of how stupid it is. Okay, for one, let's go nuclear option. Let's go nuclear, right? Now, what does he mean by that? Basically eliminating the filibuster. Mitch McConnell, by the way, and this rare praise for Mitch McConnell again. I know this is weird. I'm trying not to make it a habit, but he's actually doing sensible things. Mitch McConnell's like, no, we're not going to do that. And look, I think that's good because when you think about it, like, if he gets rid of the filibuster, well, then the Democrats have no way to counter some of Trump's most egregious proposals. We would just have to count on Republicans not falling in lockstep. Good luck on that. But look, Mitch McConnell, he's got a political motive on this. I don't think that he's doing this because he wants to preserve the Senate rules and do the right thing. No. What Mitch McConnell wants to do is to make sure that when the Democrats take over, that they don't do the same thing and that they don't go nuclear and try to ram through Democratic priorities. He's like, no, can't do that. Let's not get rid of that. Let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's not go down that road. Now, the other thing is, what are you talking about DACA for? You killed DACA, right? You killed DACA in order to force a vote on the Trump wall. That did not work. That gamble didn't work. And look, DACA is now in the hands of the courts. So really, he can't really do anything about DACA anyway, even if he wanted to. Now, he mentioned the caravans. Now, that's very interesting. What's going on? What's all this about caravans? Well, BuzzFeed had initially reported on Friday that more than 1,000, about 1,200 Central Americans, primarily from the country of Honduras, were making a trip up through Mexico to the U.S. border. Now, that trip is incredibly dangerous, and they decided that, hey, we're all just going to join together. We're going to travel together. So to make the trip that is normally very dangerous, because there are people, cartels and stuff that like to basically rob immigrants or rob these migrants, sometimes kidnap them, hold them for money, extortion, things like that. And they're like, no, if we travel in a gigantic group, that makes it a little bit more difficult for these people, these highwaymen, to basically accost us, right? because some people are taking what little life savings that they actually have to try to get into the United States. Now, BuzzFeed says that these migrants are looking to seek asylum from their criminal elements back home or slip into the United States undetected. Now, that prompted Fox News to do a little bit of a fear-mongering segment on these immigrant caravans, and I've got that video. Watch.
Even if we're standing at the border with our hands out saying, don't enter, all they have to do is cross 1 foot into the border, and we have to then take them into custody. And if they ask for asylum, or if they say, I fear to go back to my country, then we have to process them under that quote-unquote credible fear, which then allows them to be released into our country. And what's funny about this is President Obama used to say, well, they're hiding in the shadows. Well, all we're doing is going to release about 1,200 people that are then going to go hide in the shadows again. They're going to wait for an immigration reform, and they're going to create havoc and chaos. I mean, how many times do we have to hear stories of United States citizens being killed by people that are here illegally before we actually do something?
Oh my God. They're going to create havoc and chaos. I mean, how many stories have we done on immigrants that have hurt and killed Americans? I mean, all they want to do is just come into the United States illegally, which is already horrible, hide in the shadows, and then prey on American citizens. That is absolutely ridiculous. You realize a lot of these people, look, most of these people are from Honduras, as I mentioned before. They're fleeing from death, not only from the government, but of course drug cartels as well. These are regular people that have taken everything that they've had to try and get away from that place because they fear being murdered. And no, of course, Fox News is like, no, they're coming here to harm us. They're coming here to kill us. They're coming here to prey on Americans. I mean, look at the stories. Look at Case Steiner. Look at Case Steiner. I mean, look at all these immigrants, these criminal aliens coming in to kill us. When in actuality, it's actually very, very rare. And the reason that it gets hyped up so much is because it gets people afraid. Now, what's funny is that the stuff that you heard here, okay, well, before I get to that, right? So there's another video about the solution to this. This is Fox News' proposed solution. Let's watch.
Well, there's a couple things that we have to do. We have to change the law. Our legislators actually have to stand up, and we the Republicans control the House and the Senate. They do not need the Democrats' support to pass any laws that they want. They can go the nuclear option, just like what they did on the confirmations. They need to pass laws to end the catch and release program that will allow us to hold them for a long time. They need to create more bed space for ICE to hold these individuals. And frankly, we have to follow through on President Trump's rhetoric. The Border Patrol in 2017, we saw these huge drops, and the Border Patrol agents, they affectionately call it the Trump effect. Well, that Trump effect is now gone because the agencies and the Obama holdovers, they haven't followed through on his vision.
Okay, so look, you might have noticed that some of that solution ended up being tweeted out by the president. Almost verbatim. Now, there's more. Trump said, Mexico is doing very little, if not nothing, at stopping people from flowing into Mexico through their southern border and into the U.S. They laugh at our dumb immigration laws. They must stop the big drug and people flows, or I will stop their cash cow. NAFTA, need wall. Again, no, they're not laughing at us. Drugs, look, we're suffering from an opioid epidemic, right? It comes from the overprescription of drugs from pharmaceutical companies. This is not a problem that is caused by Mexican drug cartels. No, this is a problem caused by our pharmaceutical industry that their number one concern is padding their bottom lines. So it has nothing to do with drug gangs from Mexico. They're a completely different thing. Then, of course, he talks about the people flowing in. We have a net immigration of 0. So, again, tell me about how there are so many people that are flowing in the border. No. Now, there is one thing in that tweet that actually I do like. Yeah, let's stop NAFTA. Look, bad trade deals are what killed the American middle class, and what helped kill the American middle class, right? That's the only thing in there that actually sounds reasonable. The rest is garbage. Absolute fear-mongering garbage. So if we actually do something about NAFTA, thanks to immigration, I mean, it'll be weird how we got there. But if we get there to doing something that's better than NAFTA, great. Okay. Anyway, now, so he talked about how Mexico is not doing anything on this crisis. They're not doing anything. They're just letting people come right through the country. Well, according to a report from the USA Today, the United States directs an average of $320 million worth of aid to Mexico a year. Now, what is that aid for? Well, the largest chunk of that aid goes towards law enforcement. That includes helping the Mexican authorities capture drug lords, support improvements to the Mexican judicial system and security, including along Mexico's southern border, helping them stem the flow of immigrants from Central and South America. So we give Mexico money, and what they do is that they secure their southern border. Now, according to that same article, after Obama authorized billions more after the crisis with unaccompanied minors, over 300,000 migrants had been detained by the Mexican authorities, meaning that we give Mexico money in foreign aid, and they use that money to go and do exactly what Trump is saying that they do not do. Stop migrants at the border. So what's funny is that Trump has threatened to pull that funding. So that would actually make the problem worse, or what you perceive as a problem. Now that leads me to the irony of this next tweet. Quote, Mexico's got to help us at the border. They're not going to help us at the border. It's a very sad thing between the two countries. Yeah, very, very sad. Sad, baby. Mexico has got to help us at the border. I'm not repeating either. And a lot of people are coming in because they want to take advantage of DACA, and we're going to have to really see. Again, look, reading his tweets is like reading a fucking word salad. I don't know if I should add croutons. I don't know. Croutons give me heartburn, but you know what I mean. So he's like, they're coming here to take advantage of DACA. We got to end the DACA program. But you did end the DACA program. But even if you hadn't ended the DACA program, which, look, is now in the courts, now they're fighting out in court, so we really can't do anything anyway. Congress can't do anything anyway. But look, even if all that wasn't happening and we still had DACA, no one could come here to take advantage of DACA. This caravan of 1,200 migrants fleeing from violence and death, they're not going to be able to take advantage of DACA. Why? Because to apply to DACA, migrants must meet certain requirements. Here they are. They must have entered the U.S. before turning 16. Okay. Have no serious criminal background. Okay. And have lived continuously in the U.S. since June 15th of 2007. It is now April 2nd of 2018. When those migrants come here, they, by definition, do not qualify for DACA. Our president's a fucking dumbass. You're president of the United States. You have access to all the information in the world. And yet you don't know this. You don't know this because you're dumb, because you're stupid, and because you get your talking points from Fox News. And that's frustrating, right? Super, super frustrating. And look, he's using all this to try to get his border wall, for one. But he's also taking, as I mentioned, he's taking these policy positions from a propaganda arm from state TV. And look, even more frustrating than all that is we have immigration of net zero. But yet all you hear is just fear-mongering bullshit against hordes of immigrant invaders. These are people that have nothing. They have no power, no money, no homes. The only thing that they have is hope of a better life in America than what they're actually fleeing from, which is, as I said before, often death at the hands of their government or drug cartels. But look, I guess that's the reason that we in America don't want them. You know why? It's because we value money over human lives. Now, if you're a rich Saudi prince, for example, come on in, man. If you're a Chinese investor, welcome to America. Go and buy up our property and make it so that regular Americans can no longer afford said property. But if you're poor, and especially if you're from South America, or if you happen to be black, sorry, we don't want you. Go back to your own country and die. That's the position of Donald Trump and these nationalists. We allowed this guy to become president, man. We are no longer worthy of the Statue of Liberty. We are no longer deserving. We might as well just ship it up and send it back to France. Because, I mean, the kind of stuff that Fox News and the Republicans are saying, and so many American people are saying about immigrants, we do not deserve that statue. We just don't deserve it. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.